All right. Well, with that out of the way, let's not feel better because we're going to talk about the worst conference of the whole show.
I think I understand where these guys are coming from. This is Devolver Digital, their first conference. And it was at 1 a.m. Eastern time, very end of the day. And they basically got on stage and said pretty much what I took from the Bethesda conference, only not without the bullshit.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do
was they were trying to be funny.
They were trying to be funny, and they were trying to stand out. And I saw on Twitter a lot of people liked what they did, but basically they were loud and sweary and rude and obnoxious and called out a lot of like gaming bullshit that's been going on. And
so in other words, they were me.
They went satirical on it. And all of that sounds great, but they just had poor delivery.
Well, I used the comparison of Family Guy. Yes, they could have good jokes, but they generally just drag them out for so long that it becomes anti-humor.
Yeah, so like for example, the opening, the girl who's doing the presentation comes out and she's like trying to get the crowd's attention, and they keep talking. So she pulls out a gun and empties it into the air to get everyone's attention.
Then lowers it, reloads it, and fires it again.
Yeah. What they should have done is just not done the reload. Shoot the gun, get everyone's attention, move on. That was like, oh, this is amusing. This will be good. Oh, the joke is dragging out too long. It's not funny anymore. And then they had some joke where they, like, every time she said very, the camera swapped to a different angle. Like, it was a different camera. And, like, that was funny a couple of times, but they did it like 12 times. It's like, okay, this isn't funny anymore, and it actually is making me feel a little bit disoriented.
Yeah, besides, they should have used the word exclusive.
That actually would have been probably a little bit more funny. And, I mean, I did chuckle a couple of times. Like, she kept saying fuck and was, like, yelling at people in the audience, like, to shut up or screw you or whatever. I mean, the audience, this whole thing was staged, obviously. It was just, like, a sketch show. But yeah, it wasn't funny. It was not funny.
Yeah, and Devolver Digital can be very funny. It's just this wasn't one of those times.
And it kept getting less funny and less funny. Then they did some joke where a guy's arm got ripped off
because he was throwing money at the screen.
Yeah, which the throwing money at the screen thing was kind of amusing. Like, okay, I can, this is starting to get funny. And his arm's off and he's bleeding everywhere. It's not funny anymore. Too far.
Oh.
And then there was the weird, like, at the very end, like, they had, like, this weird psycho whatever, and, like, she's laughing and spewing blood everywhere, and everyone's freaking out, and then her head explodes, and it's just
this is when the drugs kicked in from the Wolfenstein conference.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, all of my tweets were like, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. This is stupid. And my notes are, I have 3 notes. Fuck, this is stupid. This is so bad, it takes camp to the next level, but in a bad way. And they just take everything too far, held all the jokes too long. I don't even give a shit about the rest of this or their games.
Oh, my last note on this was, well, that was a waste of time. Why did they get a keynote time slot?
Yeah, it was only like 10 minutes. It was super
It felt like
short.
hours.
It did. It felt like a long time. And I don't even know what their games were. I was so pissed off. And
they talked about 2, but honestly, I'm not even sure if they were real games, so I don't even care.
That's true. They had like some joke games up there and just a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I think and this is going to sound terrible to you. I think we may be too old for this.
We might be, actually. I'm there with you. I know
I'm too old for this type of humor, but I think if I was, in my teens, I would have probably enjoyed this a lot more.
I think that this is directed at the teenager, preteen audience that consumes this kind of internet content that we think is stupid. Someone screaming at a camera or whatever. But that's what this was. This was like PewDiePie, the E3 conference.
no, PewDiePie, the E3 conference was the pre-show, and the show that they had after this that went on until like 5 a.m.
I kind of thought, like, I was okay with, like, the pre-show before. I was like, I mean, this isn't, like, great, but this is, like, you know, a comedy sketch, and it's all right.
I commented that it was worse than anything I ever saw on G4, and that's a low bar.
I liked a lot of the stuff that was on G4, though. Like, that's the kind of silly, campy humor that I think is funny. Or, you know, at least amusing.
Well, I hated G4 because it killed Tech TV.
Yeah, that's true. Tech TV was better, but... You know what? I think you're right. That's the best way to describe it. We're too old for this kind of humor. Especially you.
Don't make me hit you with my cane.
You'll have to catch me first, old man.
I'll throw it at you. I'll just wait till you're asleep and then hit you.
That would work. So, yeah, I don't think that this show had any redeeming qualities to it. But we should
also see. Maybe if it was after a different show, because I think the Bethesda show, pissed off enough people.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, I liked the Bethesda show overall, and I didn't get as mad about the. At the time, we just thought it was straight up paid mods, and I didn't get as mad about that as you did, or a lot of other people, and I still thought that this was stupid.
Well, it's more the fact that you made the comparison to government where just hammering the same thing over and over again. Look at net neutrality.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good point. That is the comparison that I made.
And
I made a Trump joke.
And that's just where a lot of my fatigue of Bethesda's bullshit comes from.
Yeah. And, you're older than I am, so you've got a longer history with Bethesda than I do. And already we're coming into it with more cynicism than me. So that's probably why you're where you are, and I'm where I am.
Yeah, Jared, take a look at me. You'll be me in a few years.
Will I have the nice voice as well? Because I can handle that.
Oh, no, I would have to get one first.
I think your voice is nice. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the Devolver Digital Conference. I felt like I wasted my time. I wish I had just gone to bed.
Well, you got to watch it with me. Well, see your point.
That one was not fun, though. I had fun watching the Bethesda conference with you, but we were just like watching the Devolver one. We were like, this is fucking stupid. I think
next year we're going to have to watch one of the major ones together.
We should. We absolutely need to plan to watch as many as possible together. The ones that happened during...
See, the problem is that you have a life.
Yeah, the ones that happened during the day are probably out of the question for me. I don't know, though. If they keep pushing it back, eventually there'll be stuff on Friday, and I take Fridays off every week. I have a 3-day weekend every week now. And I usually just do housework or take care of, like, doctor's appointments or whatever, but, I could plan on that day to watch E3 conferences. Because last year, didn't it start on Sunday, or was there something on Saturday?
I don't recall.
I think it started on Sunday. But, anyways.
Oh, no, okay. But I think we started on Sunday at this point.
Yeah. Give me another timestamp.
2/27/22.